afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Glenn Bell, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships here at NSA. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us for today's Professional Services webinar, Unlock AI Value in CSD with Infor Velocity Suite. Whether you're in the beginning of exploring AI or looking to better understand what's available within Cloud Suite distribution, our goal today is to provide you with practical insights and takeaways. Here's a quick look at what we will take a look at today. We'll begin with the growing role of AI across wholesale distribution and some of the practical opportunities organizations are starting to embrace. From there, we'll introduce Infor Velocity Suite and look at how AI assistance, automation, and actionable insights are becoming part of the Cloud Suite distribution experience. We'll finish with live Q&A and information on how to continue the conversation with NSA. In regard to Q&A, please submit your questions through the Teams chat at any point during the webinar. We'll address those questions in Q&A at the end of the presentation. We also ask that everyone remain muted during the session. Now, for those joining us for the first time, let me briefly introduce NSA and the perspective we bring to today's discussion. NSA was founded in 1984, and from the beginning, our focus has been the wholesale distribution space. We're also the first dedicated Infor partner serving distributors, and many members of our full-time consulting team have spent decades working with SX Enterprise and Cloud Suite distribution. Beyond the core ERP, much of our work lives in integrations, automation, analytics, and custom development, helping distributors extend the value of their Infor environment well beyond go live. More recently, we've expanded our AI and analytics focus. Our approach is practical, combining new technology with deep distribution experience while keeping the human side of ERP firmly at the center. That perspective is what brings us to today's discussion. Again, my name is Glenn Bell, and I'll serve as your host and moderator today. Joining me are two people, please advance, who will be bringing valuable perspectives to this discussion. Representing NSA is our very own Krishna, Vice President of Analytics and AI. Krishna brings more than 15 years of experience in distribution and helps organizations apply analytics and AI in practical ways to improve operational efficiency, support better decision-making, and drive stronger business results. Also joining us from Infor is Nick Perry from Infor's Technology and Innovation team. Nick works with organizations to identify practical opportunities for AI automation and emerging technologies within the Infor ecosystem. Today, Nick will show us how these capabilities come together with Infor Velocity Suite. Together, Krishna and Nick bring both business and technology perspectives to today's discussion. To get things started, we'll turn things over to Krishna to share his perspective now. Krishna, take it away.
Thank you, Glenn. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Krishna Patwari, and I manage analytics and AI at NSA. Before Nick dives into Velocity Suite, I wanted to spend just a couple of quick minutes sharing what we're hearing from distribution companies across our customer base, many of them here on the call today. The interesting thing is that the conversation has changed dramatically over the last 12 to 18 months. A year ago, most discussions were about AI curiosity. Today, the questions are again much more practical. Questions like, how can we automate repetitive work? How can we make our teams more productive without adding effort or headcount? How can we enhance customer service or quoting and ordering while protecting margins? And the most important question, where do we start and how do we actually get results? What we are finding out is that every company is at a different point in their AI journey, and there's no one solution to it. Some organizations are beginning with simple internal AI assistance and finding productivity gains. Others are focused on automation, eliminating manual processes that slow them down for order processing, purchasing, AP processing, customer service, and other operational flows. Of course, with human in the loop. Some advanced organizations are leveraging predictive capabilities to better forecast demand, identify risky customers, recommend products for upsell and cross-sell. And this is improving decision-making day to day. Ultimately, the goal for everyone is the same: turning AI into business value, which is measurable. What excites me most about Velocity is that it brings all of this together, right? An assistant, agents, prediction, automation in one platform. Velocity actually provides a framework that allows organizations to meet customers where they are today and then accelerate from there. They have out-of-the-box solution, which you'll see today, that ramp you quickly. And for the adventurous ones, they can provide all tooling to build your own solutions. Most distributors need a place to start and a practical roadmap, which Velocity provides. That's why NSA has invested heavily in this space and why we are the first authorized and enabled partner to deliver Velocity Suite for Infor. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Nick Perry from Infor, who will walk through all Velocity brings, the business value, and a practical approach. Nick, over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Krishna. And thank you, Glenn, as well for that introduction. So just again, very briefly, with Infor's Technology and Innovation Group, really responsible for all of our AI and automation solutions that we refer to as Velocity Suite. Right, so we're going to walk through the different components of Velocity Suite today, the value that they add, how they fit into kind of business transformation and modernization. But the one thing I'd like the group on the phone to keep in mind is that we take a very practical approach to AI and automation. We understand that there are some challenges, right, in adopting these advanced technologies. But our ultimate goal with building Velocity Suite, again, was to make it easy and streamlined for our customers to leverage these advanced technologies without a huge investment in terms of cost, implementation, maintenance. And again, as I walk through the presentation today, I'll be sure to highlight again how we take this a practical approach that I speak of. I think first, for starters, want to kind of paint the picture, right, of why we built Velocity Suite. I mentioned a minute ago, everyone we talk to in terms of current customers, prospective customers, I think AI, right, and leveraging automation is top of mind for all of those customers. But there are some challenges, right, some barriers to entry that we found talking to our customers in terms of using AI and automation. So the first, right, kind of touching on those different challenges, and Krishna mentioned this a minute ago, a big challenge is how do we get started, right? How does this relate to me and my organization? And how is my company going to leverage these advanced technologies to give us a competitive advantage and to be more efficient, be more streamlined? So where we get started, I think, is always the big challenge. I think the second that we heard a lot from our customers and prospects is around resources, right? So sometimes smaller organizations, if they run lean IT operations, they don't always have those advanced skill sets, right? So think data scientists, machine learning engineers. And if they don't have these skill sets on staff, they sometimes think that AI and automation are a bit out of reach for them. And then the last challenge is around the classic ROI. A lot of our customers have tried to leverage AI in some capacity. They have tried, point automation solutions, but frankly, they just haven't really seen the results, the value, or the ROI that they were expecting. So I bring these three areas, right, these three challenges up because we took this deeply into consideration when we built Velocity Suite. And again, as I walk through this presentation, I'll be sure how to highlight how we, overcome some of these challenges and really mitigate the risk that there is associated with adopting AI and automation. All right. So very next, right, point of this slide, just want to be clear that Velocity Suite is not new, right? So Velocity Suite has been generally available since October of 2024. We have well over 300 customers that are on Velocity Suite. The vast majority of them are, live in production today, seeing tangible results, seeing real world ROI. And again, the point is here, as we get down the road for anyone on the phone, we'd be more than happy to set you up with a reference, one of our customers that's not only using Cloud Suite distribution, but also using Velocity Suite as well. And again, hear from our customers about the experience they've had and the value that they're seeing from Velocity Suite. All right. So next, I want to talk about a couple points around Velocity Suite as a whole. So everything that you're going to hear about today is a package of solutions, right? So you don't necessarily have to worry about picking and choosing, kind of what works for me, what fits, my business. It's an all-inclusive package, and there are some technical and functional reasons for that. There's some commercial advantages around that. But again, just important to keep in mind that is a package of solution. And another big differentiator for us in the market is the unlimited consumption, right? So folks on the phone that are on our cloud suites, on our ERPs, you understand that a lot of the pricing is driven by number of users. Velocity Suite is unlimited consumption. So you can have as many people using it as you'd like, and then you can utilize it in terms of the functional aspect. So the automations around the Gen AI stuff, the price remains the same, right? Our goal with automation and AI is to give it very predictable total cost of ownership for our customers, again, which is quite different than a lot of the AI solutions that are out there on the market today. Last point I want to make is, again, everything that you're going to hear about today is an Infor solution, right? So it is built by Infor resources. It's specific to our cloud suites, and we have some specific pre-built tailored use cases that we'll get in, into quite a bit in the coming slides. So data privacy, security as it relates to AI and automation is top of mind for Infor. And again, everything that we leverage in terms of AI automation stays within your Infor four walls, stays within the Infor ecosystem. So very safe and secure in terms of, again, data privacy and security. All right, so next couple slides, we're going to talk about the kind of three pieces of the pie that you see here, and how Infor strategy is taking kind of a building block approach to AI and automation. So first, we're going to start with process mining, and why a lot of our customers kind of start their AI and automation journey with process mining. So process mining is essentially an automation solution that's going to help you understand what is actually happening within your business as it relates to your cloud suite today. So it can analyze your different business processes and understand kind of what different users are doing what at what points of the process. So we can do things like uncover non-conforming variants, right? So we can see who's kind of maybe introducing new steps, skipping steps around a given business process, and why that is. We can also identify bottlenecks, right? So a lot of our customers that we talk to, they understand they have opportunity to improve their processes around order to cash, around procure to pay, but they're not exactly sure where to start or kind of how to analyze that. So process mining can do that for you. And the value that you get is the speed at which you're getting very detailed information about what's happening with your business. The idea is to get you better information faster, so then you can go out, make the changes necessary, and make quicker decisions. Process mining, also, if you think back to my first or second slide, the big challenge with AI and automation is, where do we get started, right? Our customers are using process mining today, and with the AI layer baked into the process mining solution, it can quickly identify areas in your business that you can leverage AI and automation. Again, so process mining is used as that kind of initial step, makes the business very measurable, and gives us a thorough diagnosis of what's actually happening within our cloud suite today, and then again, where we can leverage AI and automation going forward. All right, so next slide. So we wanted to keep today's session interactive, right? So we don't have time for a full demo, but what we did is included some kind of snippets of the process mining solution that you'll be able to take a look at. So on the left-hand side, you kind of see just a thorough analysis, high level, getting the details of what's happening with a given business process. And then on the right-hand side is where you can see where users are kind of stepping out of bounds in terms of our process, and it identifies opportunities for us to improve, to be more efficient. So let these run for a second. Again, the idea here is to give a sneak peek on process mining. I want to be clear to the group, we have the ability to demonstrate, in much more detail all the solutions you're going to hear about today. But again, the goal was to give a snippet so you can kind of get a look and feel for how process mining works. All right, so next we will move into automation. Oh, excuse me, before we do that, I want to point out here, these are all business processes that our process mining solution is compatible with. So again, want the group today to understand all that is included the capabilities of Velocity Suite. So if you see anything here in terms of a business process that you'd like to dig in a little bit more, that your organization is currently looking to optimize, again, happy to discuss further and set up a process mining demo, again, with any business process that you see here. Okay, now we will move into the automation phase, right? So kind of the second piece of the pie. So again, everyone wants to leverage automation to make their business more efficient, but we have to understand what's going on before we do that, right? So that's where we start with process mining. And then once we have that thorough understanding of what's happening with a given business process, then we can move to automation. Makes it much more streamlined, much more efficient. We don't want to go and automate a bad process. That really just creates a different form of work. Now, within our automation offerings, we have a couple different flavors. So first and foremost is enterprise automations. Fairly self-explanatory, but essentially what that is really just using AI to read documents. So think about purchase orders, think about invoices, service orders. We can use AI to read and validate information in those documents. So rather than having humans have our team sit there repetitively all day and read and validate information, we can use AI to do that and then leverage our team for any exception handling kind of edge use cases. The second thing we have is insights, which is essentially using AI to build analytics for us. If you think back to the point I made before about all of our AI and automation is embedded within your Cloud Suite ERP, and we have access to that data, and we have access to the transactions that happen within the ERP. So rather than manually digging through and kind of looking for certain data sets and understanding what's going on, again, we have our insights, right? So we use AI to query against the data that's in the ERP, and then we can quickly and easily build different dashboards and analytic solutions to make it easier for our users to A, find the data they're looking for, and then B, to make it much more consumable or digestible for them. And then the last thing we have relative to automation is what we call advanced workspaces. So we hear from a lot of our customers that they have to bounce around to different areas within the ERP, different screens, maybe using Excel as a supplement. But again, variety of different areas they have to go to get the information they want to do their jobs. So that's why we created the advanced workspaces, which essentially gives a user a singular kind of digital location to get all of the information they need to do their jobs. So as an example, we have an AP workspace where a user would log in and they'd say, hey, these are the tasks that need to be completed for the day. These are the invoices need to be processed. And these are things that should be on your radar with different vendors or customers. So again, the idea is they don't have to go to a bunch of different screens. They can work from the workspace directly. And then again, back to the integration piece, all of this is embedded within your Cloud Suite. So any changes that a user makes in a given workspace, those changes will automatically be updated and reflected in the Cloud Suite itself. All right, next we want to talk about the automation catalog, right? So what you see on the screen here, these are all kind of use cases and pre-built automations that come included with any purchase of Velocity Suite. So again, getting back to my point of, we want to use AI, we want to use automation, we're not really sure where to start. That's why we provide this Value Plus catalog to all of our customers. Right? These are high impact use cases that we've developed with other customers. We know that these are areas that our customers struggle in terms of workflows where they look to automate. So again, any purchase of Velocity Suite, you have full access to the catalog and all of these use cases that you see come included. Second point I'll make around the catalog, back to the challenge of we don't have the resources, Nick, to kind of implement and maintain this. Everything you see on the screen comes predominantly pre-built. Again, these are built by Infor resources. We know our ERPs, we know our cloud suites. So the time to value is much quicker versus going with a third party. The implementation is much more streamlined. And again, you don't need advanced skill sets and advanced resources to kind of build, implement, and maintain these solutions. Our team has done a lot of that work for you. So again, I want to point out, so the 8 that you see in kind of the purple box, these are all live today, right? And included with the Value Plus catalog. And then we have 2 specific use cases that we'll be releasing later this year in terms of the roadmap and adding to the catalog. But again, for today's session, want to make sure, everyone is aware of all that comes included with the catalog. If there's any of these use cases that you see on the screen that stick out to you, please make a note. And again, we're happy to set up additional time to kind of demonstrate and investigate these use cases a little bit further. Last point I want to make about the catalog in terms of what's included and the roadmap and innovation. So obviously Infor is making a huge investment in AI, a huge investment in our automation solutions. So it's important to point out, once you subscribe to Velocity Suite, anything that we add to the automation catalog will automatically get rolled out to our customers at no additional charge. So again, hypothetically, if you'd sign up next month for Velocity, you'd get these initial 8 use cases you see in the purple box. And again, anything that we add for the life of the contract, you'll get free access to. So you don't have to worry about missing out on any potential use cases. So as we build and add to the catalog, our customers will have full access to that. Okay, next, want to talk a little bit about what one of those use cases look like. So I think AP automation, invoice processing is probably one of our most common. So happy to demonstrate this further at a later date, but wanted to just, again, kind of talk through the different components and steps and how this functions and how this would work. So essentially, we would build and integrate an automation to listen to a mailbox or some type of file share location. And as invoices or any type of document come into that mailbox, that would kick off the automation. So our automation has the ability to read text within the email. It can obviously save and download any attachments, and then it can read those attachments, right? Then with the use of AI, it's all rules based, right? So we tell the AI, this is customer A, what they're looking for as it relates to their invoice. And then the AI will go through, scan that attachment, and validate all of the information that is accurate. So you think purchase order number, customer name, address, so on and so forth. We're very flexible in terms of the data fields that we can read. But again, the AI will go through, validate the information on that document based on the rules that you gave it. Now, assuming that that document kind of checks out, from there, it passes the AI test, we will register and store that invoice in the Infor document management solution, which is our repository to kind of save and organize all of your different documents. And then beyond that, we will save and register that invoice in Cloud Suite distribution. At that point, that's where I mentioned too, there's always a human in the loop aspect. This is where your AP team is still involved, right? They're there for the final approval to make sure all of the documents that were read by the AI, again, they submit those for final approval. And I think more importantly, right, the kind of edge cases or exception handling. So any of these invoices or documents did not make it through the AI validation process. That's where the team is still required to kind of come in, understand what happened, why it didn't pass, the AI validation. And then again, they can kind of make those human-based decisions as necessary. All right, so again, wanted to kind of give just a highlight of the basic steps within the invoice processing process. Again, if there's individuals on the phone interested in seeing more of a thorough demonstration with a live document, we're more than happy to set that up when the time is right. Okay, next we're going to move into the AI piece. So again, back to our 3 pieces of the pie, we talked about process mining, how that's used to diagnose what's happening within our Cloud Suite. We talked about the automation catalog to automate those business processes, help our team become more efficient. And now we want to talk about kind of the last piece of the pie around generative AI and what we have to offer, and then a little bit about Infor strategy and kind of where we're going with the AI roadmap. So first and foremost, as it relates to AI, we have what's referred to as embedded experiences. These are essentially AI-powered buttons that are embedded within your Cloud Suite ERP that can help with a variety of tasks, such as writing is a big one. Some common use cases is around dunning letters, around item promotion letters. These are all things, tasks that need to be completed. They're important to drive business forward, but they can be very, kind of, again, tedious and time consuming. So with the dunning letter as an example, we simply select the vendor or the customer that's a little bit behind on payment, and we can simply click the generate button, and it will generate a fully formatted professional dunning letter, right? You can enter the email address and you can click send, right? This is all embedded within the ERP. We can do basic summaries, right? You can select a certain vendor or customer. You simply click the summarize button, and it will give you a very detailed executive level summary. This is what's happening with this customer, this vendor. And again, it's all about getting better information quicker. So the idea with the embedded experiences, again, is to take tasks that sometimes would take maybe 30, 60, 90 minutes. And if we can get that down to the 10 to 15 minute range, as our users are completing these tasks day after day, week after week, all of that saves time, whether it's 20, 30, 60 minutes, that starts to compound over the weeks and months, makes our workforce more productive, more efficient, and we're saving time. So really just using AI that's embedded in the ERP to help us with tasks that need to be completed, but we want to help our team save time. So that's the embedded experiences. Next, we have the Gen AI Assistant, which is chatbot-like. It's conversational AI that lives within your ERP. So anyone on the phone that's familiar with, a chat GPT or a Copilot, the interface is very similar. I think the difference and the big value add is that our Gen AI Assistant chatbot has access to your data. Again, it's embedded in your ERP. It has access to the data in there, all of the transactions. It has access to your business processes. So you can be very specific and detailed in terms of the questions that you ask the chatbot. And again, you're going to get specific and detailed responses back as it relates to your data and your business. So it's not going to go out to the internet and find, general, Cloud Suite distribution information. It's going to find specifics about your business and your processes. And then last is around AI agents, right? So a lot of focus, a lot of momentum around agents. I think, the idea with AI agents is really acting as a digital assistant to your workforce, right? So not just prompting AI through, text and then getting information back from a large language model. But the AI agents, again, they can go out and act on behalf of your team. So they can think, they can reason, they can make decision, and they can take actions and come back to the user kind of with the final product, if you will. So again, the idea is to leverage kind of AI and advanced technologies. So as our business grows, we don't necessarily have to add headcount. We can leverage, like I said, AI and some of Infor's agentic solutions to kind of carry out those tasks on behalf of the team. Okay. So next, I want to talk about some of the agents that we have pre-built, again, specific to Cloud Suite distribution. So very similar to how we talked about the automation catalog, we also have a catalog of pre-built agents. And again, these are tailored use cases specific to Cloud Suite distribution in areas of the business that we know our customers have challenges, right? So again, any of the 11 agents that you see here today, we're happy to kind of demonstrate and dig in a little bit deeper. But I think for today's discussion, right, just want to be clear that, number one, we have pre-built agents. And then number two, the areas of the business that we're focused on. I think first and foremost, maybe goes without saying, but in the distribution space, supply chain is a big focus, right? So we have a variety of agents around inventory, around transfers, returns, vendors, to really help automate and streamline, our supply chain process. The second is around, customer engagement, or really just kind of improving upon the overall customer experience. So you think about support tickets that come in, you think about, any requests for quotes. We can have agents kind of answer those first level or those first line support tickets to build quotes for us, get that back to our customers as quick as possible. And then the last is around financial operations, right? So we talked during the AP during the automation portion around AP and AR. We also have agents built. So we have an accounts payable agent, as well as receivable, as well as a balancing agent to help with general ledger reconciliation and those sorts of areas of the business. So again, anything that sticks out here, please make a note. We're happy to demonstrate these, set up additional time to kind of walk through our agents. I think, for those on the phone that are aware, agents and agentic AI is definitely the future, and acting, autonomously or semi-autonomously. It's a big investment from Infor, right? So we're building a lot of our agents with the goal of getting the users out of the ERP, and again, leveraging some of these advanced technologies to kind of carry out our business processes and act on behalf of the users. So a couple of slides left, right? So we want to talk about our agent factory. So last slide, we talked about the pre-built agents that come included with Velocity Suite. We also have our agent factory. So this is a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more of an IT offering, but it's important to touch on this. So let's say a certain customer has a particular use case or a project where maybe one of the pre-built agents doesn't necessarily meet our requirements. So that's where we have the ability with the agent factory. So you can come in, you can build, you can train, you can deploy your own agents, and then you have full control over these agents, right? So you can bring them back, you can refine those in more of a kind of dev or environment, right? You can make them as specific as possible to go out and meet your business needs. So again, we have the pre-built agents, right? That cover the majority of the use cases, but we also have the agent factory, right? And essentially the way it works is the same kind of tools and technologies that our team used to build the pre-built agents. As a part of Velocity Suite, we give you those tools to kind of build and deploy your own agents as well. So another common question that comes up a lot from folks is, what type of skill set do I need for the agent factory? Just to be clear, you do not need to be a full stack developer or a machine learning engineer. If you're familiar with APIs and I think more specifically the Cloud Suite, the Infor Cloud Suite APIs, you have the ability to kind of build and develop within our agent factory. Last point I want to make around the agent factory, and I mentioned this last slide, but a big focus, right, in the market and at Infor as well around agents and agentic AI. As we continue to build more agents and roll these out, we're very interested in collaborating with our customers, right? So if there's anyone on the phone that has ideas for agents or specific agents to meet their business requirements, again, Infor is more than happy to kind of bring resources to the table, collaborate with our customers, and co-innovate, right? And that holds true for any part of Velocity Suite, but specifically around the agentic piece and building agents. So happy to discuss at a later date. All right, very similar. So next slide, again, on the notion of keeping things interactive. So we have a short snippet around the GenAI Assistant chatbot that you'll see on the left. And then we have the agent factory on the right. So just gives you a kind of look and feel for how these tools function. So I'll let these play for a second, and then just a couple more slides. If you see on the left, again, I mentioned previously, very similar interface to a ChatGPT or a Copilot, but again, has access to your data. So as you can see in the prompt results, it gives you very specific, detailed information back. All right. All right, so last slide for me, and then we'll kind of open things up for Q&A. Really just want to kind of tie things together, right? And understand, the overall solution and how Infor thinks about, a cloud-based AI-powered ERP. So starting at the bottom, right, you have the cloud-based ERP. In this particular instance would be Cloud Suite distribution and all of the, functionality that comes along with that. And then moving up, we have the Infor OS or Industry Cloud Platform. And those are all of your ancillary cloud-based solutions to help support the cloud suite, right? So that's where we have our API gateway. We have our industry process catalog where you can do process modeling. We also have Ion, our integration platform. There's a data lake. There's a document management solution. Again, all of the cloud-based parts of the ERP to help optimize, right, and give us different pieces that we need for our business. And then on top of that sits Velocity Suite, right? So all of our advanced technologies that we talked about today, all of which are living within the ERP, living within your cloud suite to help automate and help use AI where we can, right? So we talked about process mining. We talked about the Value Plus catalog. We talked about our RPA and the ability to build different automations. And then we talked about all of our AI offerings, right? So if you think about the embedded experiences, which is the AI-powered buttons within the ERP, and then we have the chatbot and the agents that we talked about the last couple slides. So all of this plays within the Infor ecosystem. It's all integrated together. They all have access to one another. So again, if you think about the time to value, the ease of use, it's much quicker and easier to go with Velocity Suite as an Infor solution than someone leveraging a third party as well. So, all right, with that, so we made good timing. We have a solid 20 minutes left. So I think for right now, want to open it up to the group, right? So if there's any questions that we have in the chat, if there's anyone that feels inclined, wants to come off mute, has any questions, anything I said that I can add a little bit more color to, happy to do so. So again, want to open it up to the group with the remaining 20 or so minutes here.
That's fantastic, Nick, and thank you both, Nick and Krishna, for that presentation. Look forward to the Q&A on this. A couple of things that also, that caught my attention just as we've been going through is, the number of people that are already using, the number of companies that are already using Velocity Suite, right? I mean, they're already taking advantage of AI and leveraging and getting those benefits, and I think that's fantastic. It's a road that's been traveled well and established, and that's fantastic. The other aspect of that too is the not having to have this, a huge AI team, to bring this into your cycle of business, and the sort of the intimacy that this process has with your business process in companies to work with your system. So I think that's fantastic. Again, so with that, as Nick mentions, please do drop your questions in chat, or if you want to go open mic for this, I think that's fine too. So fire away and go ahead, and I'll call some of these out. So thank you, Paul, for that. One question from Paul: the advanced workspace that you're already that are already pre-built, is that something that can be turned on to view how to work with our CSD data, is the question.
Yes. So, the advanced workspaces is much more of a configuration than any type of limitation. Really, the bulk of that is really just integrating the workspace with your cloud suite. And then again, AI works in the background pretty much every day, or every night, we should say, to pull data from cloud suite distribution and funnel it into the workspace. So again, those users can log in, have near real-time, up-to-speed data on what's happening to do their job. And then, yes, that correlates back to cloud suite distribution. But relatively easy setup. It's more of a couple hours engagement versus any type of implementation. To Glenn's point. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to add one more point to what you said. I was saying that, yes, it's a very quick implementation for the workspaces. We have 4 or 5 workspaces out of the box: the CEO workspace, the AP buyer, the purchase workspace, advanced workspace. This is an extension of your pre-built workspace that's already there with the word advanced, which has the Gen AI features for prediction, also automation capabilities. So it does take a few hours of implementation, but beyond that, it can be turned on once you have Velocity.
Great. We have another. First of all, did that answer your question, Paul?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a two-part question as well, and that really sort of surrounds the use of tokens and
Yep.
in that respect. So, how does the use of tokens work for Gen AI? And is there any sort of if there's a token count as such, basically, how does getting set up and testing and is that counted against your tokens if that's the process? I think is the general direction on the first part of the question. So
Sure.
I'll put that out with you first. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Glenn. And very, very relevant question, right? I think, there's a lot of chatter out there about how AI solutions can be, a bit unpredictable and expensive, right? And our goal is to do just the opposite, right? I mentioned at the beginning, we want to create a very predictable total cost of ownership. Now, how we do that? So with any velocity provisioning, right, for any Cloud Suite tenant, there is a limit of 20 billion tokens. I want to emphasize billion with a B. Now, that number is set intentionally, knowing that essentially none of our customers are going to reach that limit. Basically, what happens is with our partnership with AWS, they require a limit. And they say, Infor, you pick the number, but there has to be a number. So we did a little bit of homework, talked to our current customers, leveraged and looked at use cases, how much each token consumes. So again, 20 billion is the maximum. Our largest customers, large enterprise customers that are processing 10,000 invoices a month, they're doing hundreds of prompts a day. They're only leveraging, or I should say, using 7 to 8 billion of those 20 billion tokens. So although there is a limit, it is set intentionally so high, knowing that our customers will never reach that limit. So it essentially provides, unlimited consumption in terms of use cases. So that's kind of the structure around tokens. And then beyond that, there is within Cloud Suite distribution, there's a little button you can click. It's a token counter. It will show you where you're at for the year, how many you've consumed, just to create peace of mind, right? So you can keep an eye on it. But again, we've had 0 customers even reach half of that limit. So there's that. And then the last portion, I do believe even in a training environment, it will consume tokens. Yes.
Okay. There's also sort of a part 2 to that question regarding a recommended default LLM.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Okay.
So the framework of Velocity Suite, I should say Velocity Suite is built on the framework of AWS Bedrock. So with our partnership with AWS, using Bedrock, we access a variety of LLMs through Bedrock, right? So there's a couple from ChatGPT, there's several from Claude, Sonnet, Opus, a variety of large language models. So by default, we use, and it's configured in a way that we use whatever model is best for the task at hand. Also, you can go into Velocity Suite within Cloud Suite, and there's a drop down where you can pick the available models that you want to use. That's specifically related to the agents. So if you have a preference, you can select from a very simple drop down and you can pick the model that you want. But generally speaking, any model that's accessible through AWS and Bedrock, we can leverage within your Cloud Suite instance. Does that answer the question? And if the individual has a follow-up, I'm happy to expand there if I can.
It generally answered the question. The one thing about the tokens, though, is it possible to use Gen AI without having the full Velocity Suite?
It is not, unfortunately. Like I said,
okay.
Yeah. So everything you heard about today is an inclusive package. So yes, unfortunately, no, it is not.
Got it. Thanks.
Yep. Like I said, tokens, though, a very relevant question, very top of mind for users. Understood. Anything else, Glenn? If there's other questions in the chat, we got plenty of time here.
All right. Yeah. So there's a question. I'm just trying to interpret a little bit. Basically, the suggestion, I guess, Infor RPA on the long term will replace Ion data flow workflow, or why should they continue to use Ion IPAAS if they have velocity?
Sure.
I guess
Yeah.
the question is, does it replace? Yeah.
I would be hesitant to use the word replace, right? And I think here's try to keep it simple, the differentiator. Ion is very much about getting documents and data sets from, we'll say, system A to system B. So it's more about, again, just transferring the documents and the data, where RPA and the AI will come into play is actually reading and validating those documents. So invoice as an example, let's say you need to get them from a file share into CSD, right? You can build an Ion integration to get, just use an arbitrary number, we'll say get those 1,000 invoices in the Cloud Suite distribution. Where RPA and automation is going to come into play is actually scanning and reading those 100 invoices to validate the information that's on them.
And if
Again,
I may, Nick,
yeah,
I'm
please,
just going
Krishna.
to add some flavor to that. I can't foresee a future where RPA will replace Ion data flows and workflows. RPA is an orchestrator. So think about Power Automate in the Microsoft world, or if you have heard of automation anywhere, it is basically orchestrating different elements of reading documents from your mailbox, orchestrating flows into Infor Ion, and various other activities from your desktop to your web interfaces, and of course, very close to the Infor suite of products. And Ion workflows and data flows can enhance that experience to do decision making and transfer of information within the Infor OS. So they two kind of collaborate, and one's not intended to replace the other. Hopefully that kind of adds some flavor to top of what Nick described there, Francis. Let us know if there's any other questions on that.
Yeah, thank you there, Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah. Answers the question. Okay, we have another question from Ken. For existing CSD customers using Velocity Suite, which specific operational areas have you seen measurable improvement in, and how are those improvements quantified post-implementation? Thank you.
Yeah. No, I think the two areas that come to mind are AP and AR, right? So automating the invoice processing process, as well as automating order entry. Right. Again, try to keep it simple as possible. It's really about, in terms of, yes, justifiable, quantifiable numbers, really understanding doing the process manually today, right? So how long does it take our team to process an invoice? How long does it take to process an order? From there, we understand, and this is where it varies from customer to customer, how much of that process can we automate with Velocity Suite. We've seen with a lot of our customers, it's at least 60% of their process, some upwards of 80, almost 90%. So I guess what I'm saying is the larger percent of the process we can automate, the ROI and the quantifiable numbers are higher in terms of time savings, decreased effort from our team. So it can vary a little bit from customer to customer, but I would really say, generally speaking, through automation, using AI to kind of do a lot of the heavy lifting for those business processes in AP and AR, and really understanding how much time we're saving our customers per invoice and per order. And then again, the more invoices and orders they process in a given week, month, quarter, that adds to the value even more. But again, generally speaking, I'd say on the automating AP and AR side is the most quantifiable, justifiable ROI.
And Nick, just to shamelessly plug in the process mining pieces, our customers are using process mining, that recognition of the measurable improvement after automation is put in place, or in some cases using agents. So process mining describes, based on a time period, what that cycle time looked like before changes and after changes, which is a component of velocity that we covered earlier.
Great. One other question. I recognize the number of clients that you already have that are using Velocity Suite. We spoke of it earlier. But if people wanted to reach out to find out about referenceable, clients that are using Velocity Suite, who would they speak to, or how can that be addressed?
Yeah, I would say right here, Glenn. I'll raise my hand. Happy to help with that. So anyone on the phone, if you know they want to work through the NSA team, I work very close with Krishna, Glenn, Mary, and team. So in short,
100%.
I'm happy to help with that. And then for some quick, easy, there are a good amount of references and some case studies, some good videos on the website related to Velocity Suite. So that would be kind of in the immediate. And then if there's need for a more detailed conversation, I'm happy to help with that.
Yeah, so the clarity is definitely referenceable accounts. Please do reach out, and they're happy to help. We're happy to help, and that's great. I'd like to call out and ask if there's any additional questions from anybody that would like to drop them in chat at this time. If not, we'll start to move towards a close. But I'll give it just a couple of seconds, and
Yep.
we'll pick it up from there.
And thank
Hey,
you,
Glenn,
Glenn.
while we are waiting on questions, I just want to say that we did publish a short article in a newsletter to turn on the free embedded features in your CSD today. Let us know if we can help with that. It was published today. Just wanted to let people know that's available, and of course, bring your use case. And if you want a demonstration, we can of course show you in our tenants and also engage with customers who are using it today to show you that too.
Great. Well, I think we'll move to close then. So we'll advance to our last slide of the day. And I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us today and extend a special thank you to Krishna and Nick for sharing their expertise and for giving us this great presentation. We encourage you to reach out to Krishna directly to arrange personalized demonstrations and continue the conversation surrounding your AI and analytics needs. To everyone who registered, you will be receiving a recording of this session today, and to anyone who's participating, obviously, we'll make sure that you get a copy of this recording. And again, we just really appreciate your participation in this session. We had some strong attendance, and I think it's a fascinating time and a very interesting product suite to speak of. So with that said, just want to thank you again on behalf of NSA and Infor, and thank you for joining us, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn.